For this lesson, we're going to be talking about slope and rate of change from a graph and 2 points. So if you look here at the graph, the formula for slope is the difference of y's over the difference of x's. So if you are given 2 points, you're going to subtract the y's, and then that's the numerator, and then subtract the x's, and that's the denominator. So like the activity we did with the ramps, slope is always rise over run. So it's always your change in y's, which is your rise, and then change in your x's, which is the run. You technically would also go down and left, but we always say rise over run. So that's why I went up. But you could count down and left as well. So what happens if I gave you 2 points? So if you're given 2 points, the first thing you have to be aware of is what x and y is within a point. So x is the first coordinate, x is the first number, y is the second number, and then x, y. So each set of parentheses gets an x and a y. And then it really doesn't matter which one you say is 1 and 2. Usually people put the first one as the 1 and the second one as the 2, which is what I'll stick with. So x1, y1, x2, y2. So the formula that's above is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. 12 minus 6 is 6. 15 minus 5 is 10. And then if it reduces, reduce it. Do not make it a decimal, though. So 6 over 10 reduces to 3 over 5. But do not do decimals, because when we go to graph, the decimals will not help. So for number 2, I have x1, y1, x2, y2. So the formula is y2 minus y1 over x2. And then when you have a negative, make sure you make it a double negative. So this really is like a plus. I always change it to a plus because it's easier for me. So 2 negatives make it a positive. So 3 minus 3 is 0. 13 plus 2 is 15. And then if you type this into your calculator, it's going to tell you 0. 0 divided by 15 is 0. And then number 3, x1, y1, x2, y2. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I get 4 in the top, 5 in the bottom, and then that does not reduce. So I want you guys to try these ones. All right, so a line with a positive slope. So if you got a positive number, your graph should be rising. See how if you read it left to right, it's rising. So that is a positive slope. So that means my slope is greater than 0. If I have a negative slope, that means my graph is falling as I read it left to right. And that means my slope is less than 0. If you have a slope of 0, which means your slope equals 0, you have a horizontal line, so a flat line. Think of like an incline. If you were walking on a treadmill, it would have an incline of 0 if it was flat. And then if you have an undefined slope, which is when your calculator says error at you, if you type it in, it says error. Undefined slope is a vertical line. So a vertical line would be like a wall. If I told you to climb a wall, you wouldn't be able to. So when we do these slopes down here, we're going to identify if it's a positive, negative, horizontal, vertical line, like which slope it is. So for the first one, my equation would be 2 minus 6, or my formula, 2 minus 6, 5 minus 5. So I get -4/0. So this is the one where if you type it into your calculator, it's going to say error. So that is an undefined slope, which means it's a vertical line. So if I were to graph this, this would be a vertical line. And then I'll just do the first three. Number 2 would be 9 minus 3, 4. And then remember the double negative makes that a +2. So I get 6/6, which is 1. So that's a positive slope. So this one would be rising as I went left to right. (16 minus 9/4 minus 4). So this is 7/0, which once again gives you undefined. So that's a vertical line. So why don't we try these? Oh, I don't know why so many of these are undefined. So this one you got undefined again. For 5, you should have got the 0 in the numerator. So 0 in the numerator is 0. So this is the horizontal line. And then 6 is a good one to watch your negative. So 0 minus minus. So this is really plus. And then -7 minus minus. So this is plus. So you get 3/2. So remember, if it's a double negative, you can make it a positive. And then down here, it just says, what do you notice about the points who have the slopes of a horizontal line? And what do you notice about the points when the slope has a vertical line? So the horizontal lines are 0. So if you notice the horizontal lines, the y values are the same. And then if you look at all the ones that have undefined, their x values are the same. So if it's a horizontal line, the y coordinate point is the same. 5 and 5 here is your y's. And then if it's a vertical line, your x value of your coordinate points are the same.